back on Liquid Lunch. Hey, we got Lynda Jean here. And Lynda is an image consultant, professional image and personal impact. Right, Lynda?
Yes, that is the title of one of my upcoming presentations that I'm doing on April 16th at the Verity Club here in Toronto.
Image is all about competition, isn't it? Part of it?
In our world, yes, and certainly in our business world, and certainly during economic times like now. There have been so many studies done in the past over and over again that come out with the same results about image, and that is that first impressions are made within 10 seconds or less, and that if you look at the 3 levels of communication, so if you look at the impact that the words we use, our verbal communication, have on people, our body language, the way we shake a hand, the way we look at people, eye contact, and the third one being our image, how we present ourselves. The one with the most impact, of course, is image. And the results are verbal, has an impact of 7%. Body language has an impact of 38%. And our image, 55%.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
Oh.
And that tells us, we certainly don't live in a fair world, and it's not going to change. People like to look at well-groomed people. Not so much beautiful or handsome, it's more well-groomed. Why, for example, if you showed 5 pictures of movie stars, most of us would be able to name them. But if we showed pictures of our great authors, our great scientists, how many of us would be able to name them?
Is that because they're not looking after their image?
Because beauty seems to impact society.
Okay, so...
Yeah.
In the 70s, going back a way, the concept of image, there was this movement when women wanted to succeed in a man's world, they were to dress for success. So they would choose the colors of navy, gray, and then accent that with Bordeaux or claret or burgundy. And then, dress in sort of like these boxy type of man suits. And then it moved, from my understanding, into more feminine dresses. But still, these colors were very significant, and no one would take another seriously insofar as if they, they didn't have the Swiss watch, the thin-soled Italian shoes, and yada-da-da, on and on. My question to you is, what does one do if they can't afford all that?
And that's a good question, but there is such a thing as shopping really smart. And first of all, it's important to know colors in 2 ways. What are the best colors for you that make you look most powerful, if that's what you want, most impressionable? And then what message are you trying to portray in the workplace or in the interview? If you want to look really powerful, a black suit is the best. However, black is such a powerful color, it will wear you if you are very fair. For example, a blue-eyed blonde would get lost in a black suit.
Is that where we get down to the seasons? A summer couldn't wear a black suit?
Absolutely. And it's very true based on our complexion, which is something we have genetically and won't change. There are certain colors that really enhance us and make us pop, and there are colors that drain us and make us look tired. And so if you have that knowledge ahead of time, what is the best color for you that matches what your goal is, then you're ahead of the game. In terms of if you don't have money, there are ways to go to good shops that you normally wouldn't be able to afford and get a suit for 50% off.
Value Village.
Sometimes you'd be surprised at what you can find. It's important to know good workmanship, a beautiful fabric compared to something cheap. But fit is so important that even if you wear a cheap suit, if you have it altered, if you need it altered to fit you beautifully, it won't be that noticeable.
Yeah.
A good fit, yeah.
Yeah, fit is so important.
I thought that texture is really important, like fabric. So
It
like,
is.
Do you think people notice? Like now, a lot of women are wearing these synthetic suits that, but
Well, fabric today is much, much improved than it was in the 60s and 70s. They used to say if someone's wearing polyester, if you light a match, you'll never see them again.
oh yeah.
But today, there are some polyesters that feel like silk. And today, fabrics are far more comfortable and breathe much better than they ever did in the 60s and 70s. So it's
and
really...
suits look better. Like when you see the old movies, like from the 30s or even the 50s,
Right.
or even the 60s, like the fit is so much better now. That suits are better designed.
Oh, I think so. And there's far more creativity, especially in men's ties, because men have that limitation that women don't have in dressing, that men are limited in how they can really express themselves, but they can do it in a tie and their shirt if the workplace will allow it, if it's not a real formal workplace.
Now, Don Cherry, he really takes it over the top.
Oh, does he ever? Does he ever? Yes.
So let's talk about your business. Do you
Right.
meet with people? Do you do analysis? Do you go to their closets? Do you
Absolutely.
take us by the hand and someone calls you up and says, Lynda Jean, I need to help my image. I'm want to move up in the world. This is who I want to be,
Yes.
and I just
Yes.
Yeah, what's that process look like?
And I hear that. Just to give you a little bit of history about myself, I used to work as a social worker, a clinical social worker. So I interviewed many people. And I noticed over the years that many people, especially women I found, who were really bright, really smart in the workplace, were constantly overlooked for promotions. And it was my opinion that they just didn't look the part. When they told me the organization they worked for, and then I looked at their image, the two didn't match. And I thought to myself, I know the research, I know the statistics on how important image is. We don't live in a fair world. There's got to be a way to show people their outward potential as well. Because some people have it naturally. They know how to make the best of what they were born with. And some people just don't. They have their strengths in other areas. And so when I was able to do it, to leave a full-time job and take that big step of going out on my own, this was my mission, to show people how to make the best of what they have on the outside so that they can get their foot in the door, get through that interview, feel better about themselves, get that date, men and women. And so I work with a 4-step process when I work with individuals. The first thing I recommend when meeting people is to have their colors done. And this is where some of my clients, probably more than most, really feel uplifted because I ask them not to wear makeup if they're women, and I sit them in front of a mirror that really highlights their complexion, and I drape them with different colors, and they can see what happens to their face with different colors, and then we narrow it down, and I'll put them in either one of the 4 seasons, or they may flow from one season to the other. And I send them away with this booklet. I don't know if you can see it. It's a color booklet.
personal palette.
Yes. And they can use this as a guide for the rest of their
Oh,
lives.
wow, that's so nice.
So they always have this, and they know the guidelines, and they won't stray. The next thing I do is their personal styles. And again, I impress upon people, especially women who get so down on themselves about their bodies, especially 40 plus, because our bodies do change, and it's not our fault. And so let's take...
You look pretty good.
Thank you.
You look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Let's take what we have, our bone structure, again, which is genetic, which is not going to change, and let me show you how to dress your body. And in the process, we highlight the good and the not so great. How do you camouflage the parts that the person doesn't like? How do you really enhance the part that is so beautiful? And in that process, you really see the good in your eyes, your great shoulders, the way you walk, your fabulous legs. Maybe you never wore pants or only wore pants. Now's the time to start wearing skirts. Some people just don't know it, and they need to be told. The third step, go ahead.
No, I don't want to interrupt the process.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
please carry on.
And so once that person has this theory, color and style theory, and they understand it, they feel somewhat empowered. Then I visit their home, and we go into the closet. And before I arrive, I ask everyone to pull out everything, and I mean everything: accessories, scarves, purses, your boots, shoes, coats, jackets, everything you own, hats, and we're going to look at it. And I bring my kit with garbage bags, straight pins, markers, and we line them up, and I have a garbage bag for charity. I have a garbage bag for friends, family. We can create a memory box for special items that people don't want to part with.
You're good. As a social worker, you bring so much to it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, and this can be a very emotional process too, but very uplifting. I've had clients cry with joy. I've had clients thank me for taking away their pain, and we just clean it out. And we know that human beings don't do well when they're around clutter. You know, that's just the way our brains work. We like declutter, and this is why we have professionals now that are professional organizers. We didn't have those 40, 50 years ago, but we're starting to realize that decluttering is very important. And so we clean out the closet. Maybe some things can be saved, a beautiful garment that someone never wore. I'll have them put it on. All you need is to have the back of this jacket taken in a little bit, and I'll pin it. So we'll put it with the alterations. Something is okay, but did you notice that spot? Dry cleaners. And then the pieces that are fabulous we'll put back into the closet. And then we look at what's missing now. And also with the style and color theory, it helps us do this rather quickly because we know the things that don't work right away, and we'll pull it out. The styles, oh my God, right, I can't wear short bolero jackets because, you know, I'm long-waisted or right ever. Yeah. Yes, exactly. And so it's an easy process, and that does take away some of the pain because as human beings, we don't like to let go of things. We like familiarity. And so after that, the person is left with everything that's in their closet that works for today, not the size 2s that fit us 20 years ago. Those are gone. If you want to put them in another closet for another day, that's fine, but they must leave your current closet for now because it's a downer when you go there first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, what do? We go to our closet. And if it's full of things that don't fit us or we're overwhelmed, how do you feel? How do you start the day? After that, we've streamlined the closet. Then we make a list of some of the things people need. In my experience, most people don't accessorize. And today there's so much beautiful, affordable, colorful costume jewelry that people can wear. And so we'll make a list of some of the things they need. Maybe they have a beautiful navy blazer from a suit years ago that still works. Let's get a great pair of jeans and a great white T-shirt to go underneath that. Maybe some cowboy boots, whatever suits their personality, their image, their comfort level. But what's important is that they have to be comfortable in the way they look, and that's where they can tell me and I can tell them what I see.
So is that?
That's the four-step process.
Steps.
The last one being personal shopping.
Wow.
And so you go shopping with people?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
good. That can be good for some people.
Yes.
Did you also, in your consultations, tell them about their hair, the color, the length?
Absolutely.
Because you didn't include that part.
Absolutely. Very often when I do people's colors, especially women, because most women tend to color their hair. I cover their hair completely. I ask them not to wear makeup. I cover their clothes so all I can see is their face and white. And then very often their hair is colored the wrong way, which makes the eye even more confused when people look at you. We don't like to be confused when we look at people. We like to see harmony. It's not a conscious thought, but it's emotional. And we just like to look at the face first, and then our eyes should just go down naturally and with comfort. And so I have different strands of hair that I put on the woman, on her forehead.
To get the color, wow.
And so she can see the harmony, and she can see why that really blonde hair color washed her out.
Totally.
And why she
Wow.
disappeared.
You sound really good. So how do people find you?
They can go on my website. It's www.lyndajean.com, and Lynda is spelled with a Y, so it's Lyndajean.
Okay, we're gonna. I still have more questions though.
Go ahead.
Tammy. It's really like you mentioned that 34 years ago we didn't have.
Declutterers.
Yeah, we didn't have declutters, and it sounds like the same thing goes with your profession, because people are really have to think of it almost the way they present themselves as part of their personal brand. They really need to step it up. Really, everybody's the bar has been raised, and we all have to kind of take that into account.
Exactly. And Tammy, you asked a very good question earlier, a historic question about women entering the workplace back in the 70s. And this was new for women. Before that time, the only time women worked were in the factories during the Second World War. And so you're absolutely right when you say that they dressed in pantsuits. They looked like little men.
Little men, exactly.
Because we didn't know what to do.
There was a
at that
best-selling
time.
book, Dress for Success.
Yes.
It was like everybody bought it.
Yes.
It was like little box suits people were wearing.
Exactly.
Just a skirt, but the whole thing was exactly the same.
Absolutely.
Until, I think it took about 10 years for women to think they had the opportunity to be feminine in the workplace.
Yes, feminine but not alluring.
That's right.
Because you are a woman.
That's right.
Women are feminine. We can't change that, and why would we?
Okay, so who should give you a call, Lynda? Like, what people out there listening now should give you a call?
People who just don't feel good about themselves. I meet a lot of people who feel so good about themselves internally. That is, in terms of how they work professionally, their intelligence, but they know they're missing out based on the way they look, because we all have that sensitivity. We all know what first impressions feel like, and we've all experienced people looking at us and us saying to ourselves, I don't think she liked me, or I don't think I feel right in this place, or I don't fit here. And so I would like to empower people and show them their image potential, because we all have it. We just don't know how to work with it to bring the best of us out.
Have you noticed that business has increased since perhaps people in the financial sector are getting the pink slips? Have things been picking up? Have you?
Well, I can say that since the economic crisis, I had concerns, but my business has been quite stable, and I wasn't sure what to expect. In terms of who is coming to me, it's not so much people who got the pink slip. It's people who are fed up and have said, you know what, I'm sick and tired of feeling lousy about the way I look. I'm meeting one individual next week who said, I'm doing it all. And this person is a successful professional, so money is not an issue. But this individual is getting a coach. He's hiring me. He's hired a professional
Trainer?
Professional trainer, a life coach,
oh, wow.
A listening coach even.
Wow.
So he's really taking
a
care
nutritionist?
of
That's
the
a very
whole
important.
spectrum.
He's got an entire team of people working around the clock to make him better.
Yes, and he's just determined now that it's time to do it.
Has he just hit 40 or something like that, or
Well,
that age?
I haven't met him yet.
Okay, sorry. I'm sure it's
But
confidential.
my guess is that perhaps he has. And I'm really looking forward to working with that person because that's really exciting. This is a person who's raring to go and just make it work.
It must also give you a great sense of satisfaction, seeing the change in people, the transformation, the metamorphosis, if you will.
Absolutely. Compared to social work, where when you're working with someone in therapy, it can be a long process. Sometimes it's much quicker, but there's very little immediate gratification when you're counseling people. But in my line of work, I see the gratification with every meeting, even after just doing someone's colors. They leave happy with their wallet.
Just curiosity, was it behavior modification, the kind of social work you did? It sounds like that's where you've extended it to.
Right. Certainly that played a part. I used a more eclectic approach. In therapy there are so many different approaches, and most of them are quite good, so I implemented many of them. But I did work primarily with individuals and couples.
And of course, when you look good, you feel marvelous.
So you want to do a quick take on Hugh and I and give us some on-the-spot suggestions? Is that asking too much?
Very
Is that,
quickly. We're taking notes. So
yes.
Okay. Yes. So Tammy, first, I love your smile. You are so lovely naturally.
Oh, you're so sweet.
And that's a gift.
How much is Hugh paying you?
That's a gift because you can't make that overnight. Okay, so see that as a true gift. You're
you could
beautiful.
say things that are negative too.
Yes,
you want,
absolutely.
Please.
You have very nice coloring, fair skin, and lovely hair. What I would say to you are the colors that you're wearing don't harmonize with your natural skin tones. Because you're very brown, you're golden based, your undertones are more golden than blue. And so you would look so beautiful in the earthy tones, the brown tones. For your blue, it would be teal. Your green would be khaki. Your white would not be pure white like your blouse, but an off-white, even a slightly yellow white. And they would all work with your natural skin tone.
just don't use bleach.
Yeah, don't. Yes, and so browns. So I would see really good neutrals as dark brown for you, medium to dark brown, and navy blue, and beige.
You know, it's interesting. I would never wear brown or speak to anyone who was wearing brown, never have a relationship with anyone brown because of my association with the Nazis and the brown shirts. And
yes.
Although I love earth and I garden,
yes,
but it's just something.
You are knowledgeable. Do you know Helena Rubinstein? I don't know if she still has her makeup business. Jewish. Whenever she hired people, if they walked into the room wearing brown, she would fire them.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Because that was her association also, I suppose.
Yeah, and very painful, as you can imagine. Yes, and brown is a color. When we see people wearing brown, we think stability on the ball. This
Really?
person can get it done. Isn't that interesting? And where does that come from? Perhaps.
So could you suggest another color for me?
Oh, sure. And if you don't like navy blue. Navy blue, not a black navy blue.
Is this too black?
Well, yeah, is that navy blue?
You know, it's funny because black navy is a color I think has authority, and crisp
Yes.
white, like wearing a shirt so white that it practically blinds you, dazzles one, and
Yes. Yes. Well, white is the color of medicine, right? Purity, cleanliness. Those days are gone when nurses used to wear white, and
that's
it's too
true.
bad. But we
I'm glad they don't wear brown.
Yeah, I'm glad. But white is the color of purity. It's not and in the corporate world, I was going to say it's not a corporate look, but it is for a blouse. If for a formal corporate look, a white blouse is the best color blouse to wear with a dark suit. Black, navy blue, charcoal gray.
charcoal gray.
So
Okay,
all
so
of the
charcoal gray.
colors mean something. I don't know if you noticed, but when Hillary Clinton first made the announcement that she was going to run for president, I don't know if you remember what she was wearing.
She was wearing navy, I think, wasn't she?
She was wearing a red jacket.
Red?
Red
Okay.
is a power color. Red is the color that if you're a woman, you should wear it to a presentation. Studies tell us that people remember what you said when you're wearing red somewhat longer than if you weren't. So she was wearing a red jacket. The background was beige. And beige is a color of peacefulness, of the message that I'm approachable. You can depend on me. I can be your friend. Talk to me. And I guess we'll never know if that was intentional or... Yeah, but I thought it was rather interesting
Well, she
when I
didn't
saw
win.
her speak.
But that does explain why Don Cherry wears a red suit.
Don Cherry's just Don Cherry. Yeah, and he has those shirts made,
Those
of
shirts
course.
with those giant collars.
Yes, the roundness, which really works with the roundness of his
Oh, yeah,
face.
yeah. Yeah.
Really harmonizes. So,
Linda, we could...
Okay, it's Hugh's turn. It's
okay,
Hugh's turn.
but really,
Yes, quick
30
and-
seconds if you could, because we have to move along.
yes,
But,
yes. I love the hat.
Oh, thank
I
you.
love the hat.
See?
I like the glasses. They suit you.
You want to get rid of the black suit? You want to wear something more
it's
summery?
wearing you. It's
yeah.
wearing you. There are better colors. So it's not so much the style what you're wearing. The style of what you're wearing is fine. But when I walked in the room, I saw the black first, or the
Yeah.
dark color,
Right.
and then I saw that great hat,
Yeah.
and then I saw you. We
Yeah.
want people to see us.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
to see our eyes, to see our mouth, to listen to the business agenda.
You know, I just have to just finally, before we go and give out your website again, we have one host or co-host of one of our shows here, Sandy Duarte. She does the Friday morning, the Toronto J show here on Fridays, and I had to say to her, because every time she comes in here and I see her on the TV, because on the camera, the colors that she's wearing just are outstanding. Like I just want to look at that image, and I said to her, you know, you just look always so good. And
What does she wear?
Like there's always a splash of color. You know, she's dark haired and but very light complexion.
Yes.
But then the splash, and somehow, and she mentioned that word to pop.
Yes.
And she does that deliberately so that
Yes.
she'll pop. And so she's aware of her colors. And I just
Yes.
have to say, it just really works fantastic for her. So I think that, and it's almost like how does she do that? It's just, I think having the knowledge to just make those decisions on a day-to-day basis, and sounds like you're the person to talk to if people want to do that.
I'd be happy to.
So thanks for coming in, Lynda.
You're very
It's been a
welcome.
real pleasure to have this conversation. Where, again, can people get in touch with you?
They can go to my website at www.lyndajean.com, and it's spelled Lyndajean.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.